How can cultures be sustained, maintained? All of the decisions made within an organization can sustain or change its culture. Decisions about who to hire, how to manage, and how to help employees adapt to the organization, for example, all impact the sustainability of a culture. The selection process identifies and hires people who have the KSAOs to perform their job and perform it well. The selection process can also help us ensure that people have the same values as the organization. Recall our discussion of person-organization fit. The selection process also provides information about the organization. Think about the last time you applied to a job. What kind of information did you learn by filling out the job application or by participating in the interview? If candidates perceive a mismatch between their own values and the values represented within the selection system, they can choose not to accept the offer or to quit the application process altogether. The actions of top management also have a major impact on culture. Top managers establish norms through their words and actions. For example, managers who speak negatively about other managers encourage their own employees to do the same, to gossip and badmouth people. Over time, this behavior creates a culture of gossiping, a culture of competition within that work group. That culture can then spread to the rest of the organization. Third, the socialization process helps sustain the organization's culture. Socialization practices are those that help new employees learn the organization's culture. The socialization model is a 3-stage process: pre-arrival, encounter, and metamorphosis. The process is considered to be complete when new members of the organization have internalized and accepted the organization's norms, when they are confident in their ability to do the work, when they feel trusted and valued by other members and the organization itself, and when they know what is expected of them. This process is known to impact members' productivity, organizational commitment, and turnover intentions and decisions. The first stage of socialization is pre-arrival, which recognizes that everyone arrives to an organization with their own set of values, attitudes, and expectations. The accuracy of their perceptions of the organization is a critical predictor of how well they will adjust. This is one of the reasons why we encourage realistic job previews. It's better for people to know what to expect than to have their expectations shattered. One way to capitalize on pre-hire characteristics is to use the selection process to inform applicants about the organization. This allows them to make better, more informed decisions about whether they are a good fit for the organization. In the second stage of the socialization process, new members encounter the organization's culture firsthand for the first time. In doing so, they confront the possibility that their initial perception of the organization was inaccurate. Imagine the person who hired you impressed you with their professionalism, but then your manager turns out to be quite the opposite of professional. What would you do? Would you stay or would you quit? If new members' expectations were fairly accurate, then their initial perceptions are validated and cemented within their mind. New members can still get the wrong idea about an organization if both the selection process and the orientation process promote the wrong idea. Imagine an organization is, in reality, a really good fit for an individual, but the hiring manager makes a bad impression during the interview, and the employee's potential colleagues make a bad impression on the first day of work. This employee isn't likely to perceive the match, even if it truly does exist, because their initial perceptions have not been validated. It will probably take a great deal of effort to convince them otherwise. If their expectations turn out to be less than accurate, their workplace attitudes and behaviors are likely to be impacted. Some people quit, other people put less effort into their work, other people may undermine the core values of the organization by deliberately behaving in ways that contradict those expectations. Managers should encourage new employees to develop friendships and professional relationships with existing members. They can learn a lot from those who already know the ropes. The relationships give people a reason to stay, even when their work is not going well. The third and final stage of the socialization process, as presented by this model, is called the metamorphosis stage. During this stage, new members work out any problems they may have identified during the encounter stage. Maybe their perceptions didn't match reality, and they're trying to figure out what to do, stay or go. Maybe they have questions about their role, or maybe they experienced a relationship conflict with a colleague. There are two major bundles of socialization practices. Both of these categories are described in more detail on the next slide. There are a variety of strategies we can use to help employees adapt to the organization. This list has been divided into two columns. The column on the left includes institutional practices, and the column on the right includes individual practices. Formal versus informal. New members are highly segregated from the work setting and are differentiated in some way to make it obvious that they are new to the organization. They may wear a certain uniform, for example. They often attend specific scheduled orientation and training programs. In an informal socialization situation, new members start working immediately with little or no special consideration. Collective versus individual. Collective socialization groups new members together, and they go through nearly the identical set of experiences together at the same time. Boot camp, for example. Individual socialization means new members are brought onto the organization one at a time. They are often socialized by their managers and their colleagues. Training tends to be customized and personalized. Fixed versus variable. With fixed socialization, new members progress along a standardized timeline. A 90-day probationary period is an example. With variable socialization, new members transition from outsider to insider at their own pace and without advanced notice. With serial socialization, new members work with role models who train and support them. An apprenticeship or mentoring programs are examples. With random socialization, new members are left on their own to figure things out. Divestiture socialization strips new members of their internal characteristics and attempts to shape them to fit the new role. The police academy's training is an example of this type of socialization. Investiture socialization encourages new members to keep their own qualities, the ones that got them hired in the first place.